Well, first of all, thank you so much for everybody for coming along here today, and particularly thank you to Harlow Town Football Club for hosting us this afternoon. It's fair to say that I've spent my fair share of Saturday afternoons behind the goal cheering on Harlow Town, and we're really excited about the cup final on Monday, and I'm confident that the Hawks can do it and be crowned the League Cup champion. I've been involved with politics for a long time now, and the word that comes up in every election is that word change. But I don't think ever before has the word change been more relevant than it is in 2024. And it's probably the first set of local elections I've been involved in where our slogan, "It's time for change," has actually come up on the doorstep. The difference, the choice that people in Harlow have who are coming to the polls, who are voting tomorrow, is stark. A reckless local Conservative party who will play hard and fast with local government finances to win an election, or a Labour Party full of 33 fantastic local candidates, local community champions, who will champion their communities, work hard for their communities, and ensure that we have a strong and stable Labour Council, which is what this town desperately needs and what the people of this town desperately deserve. And you know what? If the people of Harlow are under any doubt of Labour's commitment to Harlow and the future of Harlow, well, once again, I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Keir Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party, and Rayner, the deputy leader of the Labour Party. And I can assure both of them that when I'm elected as Harlow's MP, I'm going to be expecting back here time and time again to see the challenges that the people of Harlow face and work with them to ensure that the next Labour government solves those challenges. So I'm absolutely delighted to hand over to Angela now, who's going to say a few words. Thank you.
Well, Chris, first of all, thank you to you and all the candidates here and those that have been on the council and fighting for Harlow, because we've had 14 years of decimation and austerity for local councils, where they've in effect taken 50 quid out of one pocket and given you a tenner back and said, "Oh, you're happy with it." And that's really damaged our public services. We've seen it in the NHS. We've seen it when they said they were giving us more police after they've taken the police off the streets, and they think the public are going to let that wash. Well, I think the public have seen what the Tories have done over the last 14 years, and they have completely ripped out the heart of our communities, left them stranded without the support that they need. Our schools that are crumbling, our councils that don't have the resources to provide even the statutory services that our older people deserve and our young people deserve. And in the area around housing, we've seen they've not tackled the issue of housing, and that's why we've got the biggest homeless crisis for a generation. And everything that you've been doing over these last months and weeks in the run-up to these locals on Thursday, I know people are frustrated that we aren't having a general election on Thursday, because the public wanted a general election on Thursday, because I think the public have decided is enough and we need that change. And hopefully on Thursday, when you win this council, you will do the hard yards that Keir talks about, because this isn't about petty little slogans. That we need real embedded deep work that's going to take us a long time to turn the tide on the 14 years of the lost generation that we've had over the Tories. But you know what, we're in it. We want to do it. People say to me, "Ange, why would you want to take over in government now? Look what the Tories have done. They've crashed the economy. They've wrecked public services." Because, you know, I needed the last Labour government that gave me opportunities, and no one gave up on me. And this generation needs us working hard for them. So I know we've got the last 24, 48 hours to go to get us over that line. But everything you do, and on Friday morning in those early hours when you see those results go in, you know that we're on the path to power because Britain deserves the change that we're going to deliver. So I'm going to hand over to you, to the next Prime Minister of the country, Keir Starmer.
Thank you, Anne, and it's really fantastic to see all of you here this afternoon, to hear from Ange and to hear from Chris. This is so good. This is where real lives are determined, not in Parliament, but here in our communities, talking to our voters. And Chris, it's really good to hear everything that you want to achieve for Harlow, both as a leader here and I hope as an MP in due course. But we've got to get the council first. So let's get our process. I'm really pleased to see that over there. Vote Labour, Chris Finch, at the side of the football pitch. That's exactly what we want to see around the football. I'm not quite sure of the one just to the left. We'll sort that out. But look, what Chris said, what Ange said, is really important. The country is crying out for change. People know that things are so broken now. They want change. They want to know that our changed Labour Party is the party for them to vote for the change that they desperately, desperately need in their lives. And there's a reason people want change. It's because they know full well, because they see it every day, that this Tory government has failed them on every front. Wherever you look, sewage in our waterways, the NHS waiting list, the potholes all over the road, you name it, everything that they've touched has been damaged, and they have failed on every front. There are little stories in the hospitals about the failure. You'll have seen it every time you go to your hospital. We have to change. People desperately want that change. And they've got no excuses. They've got no excuses at all. Yes, there have been global challenges. Nobody denies that, whether it's COVID or Ukraine. But other countries have done so much better than this country, because the truth is, underpinning their failure is the chaos and the division that are characteristic of this government. Failed leaders, failed policies, the chaos and division. And chaos costs. Chaos costs. And it's the voters here and across the country that pay the price of this Tory failure. And what the country needs now more than anything is a plan to rebuild, to turn a corner, turn the page on this failure and take us forward. And that's why I think it's been so important for us as a changed Labour Party to put forward our positive plan for the future. Whether that's rebuilding our NHS, getting those waiting lists down, so desperately, desperately needed. Getting the buildings we need, the homes, the infrastructure across the country so we can get our country moving again. Whether it's taking control of our streets, safer streets, a great inhibitor of people being able to go out, antisocial behaviour. The Tories have you believe that's low level, it doesn't really matter. It affects lives every day. So we've got a plan to take the country forward. We've got that positive case. We need to get out there for the rest of today and tomorrow to get that positive case across, because we've got a plan for the future of this country to take it forward. And it's not just a plan, there's a bigger moment here, both in these elections and in the general election that will come. Because this is a chance for us to turn a page and turn our backs on decline. We've had 14 years of failure and decline. And if after 14 years you leave your country in a worse place than when you found it in 2010, then that is unforgivable in politics. And I don't care which political party you support, that is unforgivable, to leave your country in a worse place than when you started it. We could turn our backs on that decline, and usher in national renewal, a sense of a Labour government helped and working with our Labour councils and mayors elsewhere across the country, taking our country forward, making sure that we can not only fix the problems that the Tories have caused, but take our country forward to a much more positive, a better place, where everybody can actually say, do you know what, I do feel better off, I do feel safer, I've got a health service working again for me, and my community is better off as well. So we take those steps tomorrow here in Harlow, we take those steps across the country with a positive case, with real strength and confidence in our hearts. And do you think we can do it?
Yes!
I said, do you think we can do it?
Yes!
Thank you so much.